everybody, and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and this is going to be a Heel Heat review. Now, we're reviewing for the first time a video game. WWE 2K14. This one specifically for the PS3, although I doubt there's very much difference between this and the Xbox 360 model. As you can see, before we get into this, there's two covers for it. One, the standard it comes with, The Rock, or you could flip it inside out and use the Daniel Bryan cover, which was a fan choice that one of the fans made. I am more of a Daniel Bryan fan, so therefore that's the cover I'm going with. I thought that was a cool little aspect for them to add in. A lot of people were upset that The Rock was on the cover. This gives them a chance to make somebody else on their cover. Now that I've got that all back together, let's go right into it. First off, we're going to talk about the roster in this. I believe there's somewhere upwards of 80 characters, new characters, historic characters, your standard people you would expect: Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, John Cena, Randy Orton. Some couple of missions, the Wyatt family are not on there, and there's no plans of putting them onto one. Roddy Piper is someone that's not on there, although he does referee a match, which is weird. Guy that was influential in some of the early WrestleManias, and I don't think he's on any of the DLC packages that are coming out. Notable inclusions on this are the Shield, Fandango's coming in an expansion pack, Biggie Langston's going to come in an expansion pack. You know, the addition of guys like the Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, basically your history of WrestleMania: Andre the Giant, Big John Studd, King Kong Bundy. I mean, all the way up and down the list, a bunch of historic wrestlers: Shawn Michaels, Y2J, Bret the Hitman Hart, Razor Ramon, Diesel, and eventually there's going to be a DLC that you get them in the NWO version. All in all, a very immense grouping of characters. Like I said, few omissions. I would have liked to see the Wyatt family added, but you're really picking at the bottom. The Uso brothers as well. They're not on here. They were on last year's as a DLC package. I don't know why they didn't bring them into this game, especially with how big they've been on the show. But that's their choice on who they go in. There's only so much space they could take up. Now, the flip side of that is the creator wrestler mode is more immersed than it's ever been. They give you easy routes where you could clone a wrestler, basically, and then your level of involvement is as much as you want it to be. There's thousands of different things you could do. If you're good yourself, you can make your own. You can import music. So let's say you want the Sandman and you want him to come out to Enter Sandman like you did in ECW, you can. Let's say you want someone like AJ Styles and his TNA music. If you have that MP3, you could put it on your system, your PlayStation or Xbox, and make him with that as his entrance. Pretty much anybody you could think you would want, they have the formula for you to make it. And if you're not good at doing that, you could go online and they have community creations. In other words, and you could put yours up as well, where, let's say for instance, I want Rob Van Dam. He's not in there. He's not going to be in any of the DLC packages. I go online, scroll down, look at the Rob Van Dams that people have made. I could download it right off of somebody. Most of his moveset's going to be in there, I guarantee it. I know all of his trademark mannerisms are. So that'd be someone, and many other people like that. Just to name one, but anybody you could think of, if they're not in the roster, you could easily create them yourself or download them. So they give you 100 slots for downloaded wrestlers, with I believe the 80 that it tops out on this. That's 180 wrestlers. I really don't think you would need much more than that. But it kind of, like I said, there's a couple of missions, but I expect them to be in the next year's model. Now, speaking of that, we're going to go right into the graphics portion. Now, we're at a time in history where most video games, the graphics are stupendous. It's gone past the point where you had to have either a great game or great graphics. Now it's a given you're going to have great graphics. It's the gameplay that's involved. This one doesn't disappoint. A couple times there's weird, if anybody's played with the Ultimate Warrior, his hair is weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like a helmet that just sits there. Couple weird animations every now and again. Nowhere near as glitchy as WWE 13, which was much more glitchy, and WWE 12 even more so. So they've cleaned a lot of that out. Still some weird things. Let's say you run into the ring steps, sometimes you run through them, or you hit a suplex that hits something that's not there, or hit something that's in its way and totally weird, makes it go weird, but not too bad in all in all. Graphics are great, as you would expect they would be. It's on a next generation console. Not a big improvement off of the last one. I attribute it to two things. 2K got this as pretty much a finished game and just put a little bit of polish on it. There's that, so they're working on their own version for the 2K14, and also they're probably ramping it up for the next generation of systems, the Xbox One and the PS4. So you're going to see more of a graphic jump in the next game than you do in this one. But that's not why we bought this one. We bought this for the 30 years of WrestleMania mode, which the gameplay on it is awesome. I enjoy the cutscenes and the interactions they do. You got the GM mode, which I believe is called WWE Universe mode. I call it the GM mode because that's what it is in most sports games. You have the beat the streak or defend the streak. I really enjoy what they did with the beat the streak. You have to destroy the Undertaker to get a win over him. And by destroy, I mean you have to murder him, basically. I've probably played it roughly 150 times, and I'm probably 3 in 147. And the three of those were after I figured out a formula that may work. And still with that formula, it's about a 1 in 10 guess. But basically what will happen, if you go to pin him when you think you have him beat, he can put you in the Hell's Gate or grab you by the throat and chokeslam you. If you got him beat down and you're about to hit a finisher on him, and he's about to go down, all of a sudden the lights go out, Undertaker's standing behind you. So basically the stuff you would expect from Undertaker. I really enjoy this aspect because they made him as legendary and as difficult to beat as he is in WrestleMania. Now, all in all, I thought the game was pretty good, really great. It's definitely worth buying, even if you have WWE 13. I know there's some people, I've talked to some of my friends that say they buy it every other year, or because of the way that they go. Most of the time it's just a roster update, and more or less this is the same thing, but the added aspects of the 30 years of WrestleMania, which is a better version of the Attitude Era that mode they had last year, and the Beat the Streak mode, make this a worthwhile buy on its own. I think overall if you get this you won't be disappointed. But basically let's go into our ratings. Now if you've seen our show before, we rate everything on a 1 to 5 scale, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. I'm going to give this one a solid 4. The only thing that knocked it down was a lack of innovation. Even though I understand why there isn't any, I do expect that if I'm shelling $60 out, or if I go with the Undertaker version, which is $100, that I get something better. Now I did with the gameplay, and I did with the roster, and I did with the expanding Creator Wrestler, which basically at this point you could create any human that's ever lived. But the innovation with the graphics and the gameplay, the in-ring gameplay, not so much there. So that knocks it down from being a perfect score down to a 4. Overall, a great game. I've had it for about a week and a half now. I haven't been able to stop playing it. The enjoyment factor's there. The replay value's there. It's a great game if you want to play it on your own, or if you want to have some buddies over and have tournaments, or, you know, do a thing where usually when I get together with my buddies, one person plays another guy, loser gives up the controller to somebody else, and the winner keeps playing until he gets beat, then he gives up the controller. Basically what we do to kill 5-6 hours at a time. But overall, a good game, a fun game to have. Definitely, if you have children that are looking forward to this, this would be definitely a great game for a Christmas present, Hanukkah present, whatever you might want to do with it. I think overall, I'd give it a 4 out of 5. Definitely a worthwhile buy. But basically, that's all I have to say about that. My name is George Coles, and this has been a Heel Heat review.